When it comes to your singular work, singular meaning exceptional, rare, unique, it's very important to understand that it's not enough to just have strong original work. And I think a lot of you understand this. There are plenty of people with strong original work who remain hidden and private. Many who choose that, I'm clearly not talking to them. So when it comes to singular work, that implies that it's probably going to be challenging to your industry and field in some way or another, whether it's the what you're presenting or the how or both. And you must really understand that, because when it comes to actually representing that work, sharing it in any way that may be, that of course starts in a lot of cases publicly, but also behind the scenes, you must be able to hold it. So what do I mean by holding it? Because there are a lot of ways that I could talk about this. And it really starts with being very grounded in not only your work, but your philosophy, your come from, how you see. That's honoring your singular gifts and really being solid in that. But a lot of times what we get confronted with is a lot of our primal fears around being accepted and belonging, and all that kind of connects to approval and validation. And of course this starts very young. So when we start representing our work and maybe we start getting certain feedback, it might be negative feedback, which a lot of people fear, but one of the worst feedbacks that a lot of people don't talk about is silence. Not hearing anything, getting nothing. And what happens is you start filling that void with all your fears and resistance. People love talking about being the genius. And what most people don't recognize is that a lot of the canonized geniuses were up against a lot of obstacles. And many of those obstacles were their own peers. And I've studied many, starting with obviously artists, since that's my background, performers, thinkers, and it always fascinated me to understand not just their makeup and their work, but also the obstacles they were up against, a lot of those being financial in some cases. I always studied that very closely. And this is why I integrate the interpersonal work that I do, and most importantly, going to the levels that I do. It's not just enough to kind of recognize your fears and yada yada. You got to actually penetrate and dissolve them. You have to meet these things entirely differently if you genuinely want to be representing your singular work. It requires a fundamental mutation. So if you genuinely want to develop and represent